And we are live. What is going on, agent? But welcome back to Beyond the 90. Southampton 2, Leicester 2. Alex, over to you, my friend. What do you think initially? How are you feeling after that one?
Kind of hard to describe because I feel like going into this match, we had a really good opportunity to snag 3 points, and now a single point is kind of disappointing. But also on the other end is we could have easily have lost this game. So at the end of it, you kind of take that point and you kind of go, thanks. But I think we missed a clear opportunity to snag 3 points and jump back up into the to the top 7 of the or top 6 or wherever we could have landed because the
Yeah,
opportunity was there today.
it was. But at the same time, in the first, we'll get to the first half. Obviously, you set up with 4-2-3-1. Nobody's really surprised over the way we set up. I'd say the only surprise for me really was Jamie Vardy. I mean, a lot of people were talking about this. I think Pat Sandaka was going to play this match. He didn't. And I was kind of surprised to see Jamie Vardy start.
Yeah, no, I was quite surprised because we've talked about this, and Jamie Vardy is going to be 35 in January. Like he's not getting any younger. So I think I was quite shocked when I saw that. I was under the expectation that you see Nacho or Daka in there and kind of give Vardy the opportunity to rest. But no, I'm quite shocked. Pretty much for the rest of the lineup, I was there's nothing shocking to me. But you got to think that if Vardy plays tonight, you got to think he's being rested on the weekend because Napoli's going to be that pivotal game coming up. So, I think it will be very interesting to see what we kind of see in that formation come Sunday. But, I think these next 2 games are going to be very interesting to see what Rodgers does with, squad rotation.
Yeah, I think so as well. And we'll have to see what happens considering, again, games are coming thick and fast. We've got a lot of, again, the reason why we've been lacking is in content is because there's just been so much going on. And we want to pace ourselves. We've killed ourselves. I've killed myself definitely doing burnout during this time. So taking our time through this one. Anyway, in terms of the first half, Southampton were all over us. I mean, they deserved to be up at halftime, Alex. I mean, their passing was better. They were winning second balls. Even from defensively, they were playing a lot better as well. Their ideas were better, the intent was better, the passing was better, their opportunities were better. We weren't at the race at all. And watching, and I'm like, oh my God, maybe we're getting absolutely hyped up for nothing because I was sitting there watching the match like, oh no. But after that, the first half wasn't great. We'll touch on it briefly, but we deserved to be 2-1 down at the break.
Yeah, that first half wasn't pretty. I don't know about you, but it seems to just continue to show up where we are struggling heavily on set pieces. And it's the one of the main aspects of our game that is just an absolute killer for us. Momentum wise and goal wise, we can't defend at all. And it's slightly nerve wracking because you look at the table and you see where Southampton is, and you think of Leicester the way that Leicester are in their the depth of their squad and whatnot. Most of the time, you'd have no issues, in a match like that. You'd think that that'd be an easy 3 points. Clearly, that didn't happen today. But then you start looking at, okay, this is where they are in the table. You start drawing more concern, being like, okay, if we draw to Southampton, how many other teams can we draw to in this type of situation or lose to? Because sure, we can play and we can beat them, in the middle of the pitch. But when it comes to, defending set pieces, we're woeful.
Defending set pieces, kind of defending in general, it seems like a last ditch thing. Like they're just like, right, somebody's got to go for this. And kind of Castagna and say Johnny Evans in particular were digging us out a lot of the time as well, which wasn't great. Obviously, we get the goal from Evans, kind of came out. I know, I think that was our first shot on target. I want to say first shot, the opportunity came in and we managed to score that. But again, I don't want to touch too much on the first half because they managed to sort it out. And one of the big players and one of the big reasons why I managed to sort it out, Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall. I was honestly calling for him at halftime, and I'm so glad that he got brought on. Samore, again, he didn't have one of his best performances. I think he didn't really show himself up too much. But as soon as KDH came on, what a performance he had overall.
Yeah, just I think this proves that this performance today just kind of proves on how reliable he is in that midfield. And he came in and he was ready to play, and that's something that you can look at and be like, this is the type of player that we need. Coming off the bench, or in those cases where Tielemans is out with an injury. If I'm Rogers, I really can. I would consider highly to start Dewsbury Hall on Sunday, because he's that type of player that he brought in a new set of fresh air into that second half. And without him, you kind of wonder what would actually happen. Um, so he played fantastic, and I have zero criticism for his play in that second half.
Yeah, and everything that went through him. Again, he was a little bit raw, but I can't take too much away from him. Attack intent was there, defensive intent was there. I think one time we had a ball. I think Casper kicked it out, and he ran the entire length of the pitch to try and close down McCarthy. It was absolutely phenomenal. His passing was fantastic. His intent to move the ball forward, his long range passing. So happy with that. And overall, I mean, again with Yuri out and him coming in, we didn't look like we missed Yuri that much, to be honest.
Yeah, you know what? I will say that Dewsbury Hall really did a good job at filling that role. Um, I definitely do think that we are still missing Yuri in a lot of ways, but I think Dewsbury Hall is that type of player that can come in and really fix and kind of just like fill in the gaps when needed. And he did a fantastic job in that today, and he has done that whenever he's come on. Uh, but having said that, I think Yuri is in a completely different tier, and when he's on, it's there's not many other players that can match his level of ability.
Yeah, he was absolutely, again, he was a sensational today. And one player I think that gave man of the match got slightly better than that overall in terms of the match. James Maddison, 3-3 now he's got. Great take for his goal, great overall setup, beautiful footwork, I think, throughout the match. A man that's just beaming in confidence, and we just love to see it.
Yeah, I'm gonna fully admit it. I went absolutely wild when he scored today. That was just the way that he held onto that ball and was able to capitalize and score. That was just absolutely fantastic. What a goal, and what a momentum shifter. I would say
Mhm.
is once he got that goal, it just seemed like it was all Leicester City for a little while there. And if you got to give him props, because we've been critical of him. We I've been extremely critical of Madison when he's off his game, but when he's on his game, he is completely different tier, caliber of player, and he's really just shown that. And like I said, when he's on, and it's absolutely fantastic. And I don't, I really do not see this game, you know, staying 2-2, or even, well, if he doesn't score, we lose. But I don't see this game remaining tied at 2 without Madison. What he's able to do both defensively and offensively is just, it really is quite good.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree as well. And something just to consider as well, we've criticised Brendan Rodgers' tactics and things in the past. This week, we do have to give him credit. I mean, all three substitutions, you look at the first one, obviously, KDH for Samore, and the second one, Perez for Lookman, I think was a good substitution because Lookman was on a yellow, and I think he was getting in some positions where I was like, okay, that's not too bad. And the third one, Barnes for Daka. He's going for it. There's no kind of, oh, we're going to settle on a draw here. We're going to win games, and we were pressing games right until the last minute. Yes, defensively, we weren't there, but what you can say is this team didn't give up. This team didn't. I can see some people having a go, and that's fine. But I think what we've seen before is where there was no idea. There was an identity there. We didn't quite finish it off, but at the same time, the intent was there to try and win this game. And we tried, and it didn't work. And for that, I just have to say, well done to the players, and well done for Brendan Rodgers. We'll get them next time.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that you can really look at that and look at that in a positive light, because we were probably talking about the complete opposite about a month ago. The
Hmm.
way that Rogers was, tactically looking at the lineups, and changing who he was bringing onto the pitch were completely different. It'd be a 1-1 game, and the player that he'd be pulling off and replacing him with would not make any sense whatsoever. And you would look at it and be like, okay, basically, my assumption of what is actually going on is that Rogers is just hoping for that point.
Hmm.
And that was the more frustrating thing. Tonight, very different. When you bring on the likes of Daka and Perez, and I would even say Dewsbury Hall, it was
Yeah.
more of the sense of, hey, we're not going to just hold back and hope that we can hold this match at 2-2. We're going to go for it. And you know what? They weren't successful tonight. They had some really great opportunities. Barnes missed an opportunity, and Vardy missed an absolute gift. And sometimes that happens. And when you look at it, could we have come away with the 3 points? Absolutely. But as
Could
you
have come
said,
away with 0 though,
we could have come
especially
away
that
with
90
0.
minutes. I was like, oh, anything. Like I was so they didn't have to create too much, but especially from 90 to 92, the ball was going end to end, and it literally could have been anybody's game.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is this was a type of game where you didn't know what you were going to expect. There's times that I was thinking Southampton we're gonna score, and vice versa. It was just one of those matches where anything could have gone. So, respectively, I really do think a 1-1 draw is kind of the perfect way this game should end because both sides had opportunities to win the game.
Yeah, it could have been 4-4 to be honest with the chances. We'll come back to that. But the thing is, in that second half, what was good is that Leicester. I know Leicester turn up a little bit more in the second half, but we did, and we could have again 2-1 down. We could have put the tail between the legs. Oh well, we're going to pack up and see what happens, like we've done in the past. Like we've drew 2-2 with Crystal Palace. Like we've drew 2-2, I think, with Burnley as well this season. This feels like a different performance, even though it's the same result. I mean, you're talking about that when Barnes went through. I was thinking, yes, he's going to put it away. Didn't. McCarthy made a good save. You're looking at it going, again, another time that's going in the back of the net. But getting the right positions, getting the right attacking intent to try and put the ball in the back of the net. And that's kind of what we want at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's looking at this, there's more positives than there are negatives, and I think that's something that we can look at in positive light. The start of this season was absolutely dreadful. Our defense is still absolutely dreadful, but we had the opportunities to score, and we didn't capitalize off them. But let's hope that when we go into Sunday's match against Aston Villa, we can capitalize off of those, and we can pull out with a 3-point game. I do think that one thing I will say is that I definitely think that Nacho deserves more time. He's been sitting on the bench for a long time, and I think what he delivered to us last season, he deserves more start times or more playing opportunities, and he's not getting that, which is incredibly frustrating. Not only for the fan base, but I couldn't even imagine how he's feeling right now.
He's one of the most informed players in 2021. He's so good, and the fact that Brendan Rodgers isn't neutralizing him, and partly is, I mean, at the moment you can't stop Maddison playing in that number 10, and we know that's kind of how he plays. However, if you're going to take Lookman off, that could be a place that Perez, and that could be a place that Nacho, and if you give me the option of Nacho or Perez, as good of a game, you looked decent today, but I'm agree with you. I would have had Iheanacho in there, and I don't know what it is. I think it's just one of the formation changes thing. Where we play 3-5-2, then he works, but I think at the moment, but I can understand. I understand Brendan Rodgers like, look, let's keep it as it is, but he could have been that little spark extra that could have won us the game a little bit.
Yeah, and I think that's something that I feel like we're still missing. And I know last season, when Vardy was injured, and we kind of gave Nacho that start. He gave us that, and I feel like that's still missing. And I feel like if you give him that opportunity, he might be able to just do that all again. And like you said, he's one of the most informed players of 2021. And the fact that he's just sitting on the bench waiting, it sucks. He deserves that. He deserves the opportunities because he's done enough, and he's provided enough, and he's proven that he can be a valuable asset to the squad.
Definitely. From one Nigerian to another, not from me to Alex, but from over to Ndidi. Ndidi, Alex, I've never seen him. I think even against Watford, he wasn't great. When we were saying he's okay, he didn't have too much of a performance. This game, he was surprised. We've seen him when he came into the Premier League. I think that's the most poor I've ever seen in Diddy. And saying something because I'm such a big fan of his. But at the moment, he could have easily got a red today. He could have given away a penalty for the kick in the 300 Spartan kick in the chest on Romeo. It was lucky to stay on the pitch, let alone finish the 90 minutes.
Yeah, he was bad. I I I don't have anything else really to say about that because that's as that's the best definition I can get for him is that he was horrible today. He
Yeah.
he was fortunate that he didn't get a red card. He's fortunate he didn't give up a penalty. That's not the Ndidi we're used to seeing. I don't know what's going on, but it was it was bad. And
It was
I
bad.
think that's one of the aspects that we could say that we're lucky because not only did we get away with not, giving up a penalty, but we also got away with indeed not getting a red card. And both of
Missing
those
the Villa's game.
could have easily happened. So the
Hmm.
fact that we're going to have Ndidi for the game against Villa is great, but we pulled out that get out of jail free card because we got off real lucky this time around because it could have been extremely ugly.
Yeah, it's kind of that's how you weigh it up. You can go, okay, Ndidi should have been sent off. We could have. We got again going down to 10 men with Ndidi not in the team makes a massive difference. Especially, I think at that point, have we used all 3 substitutions? Or so you're looking at it going, Kieran Dewsbury holds as a pivot on his own. Doesn't really fill me. I love him. He's not really filling me with confidence for that. You're looking at that going, oh, it could have been worse. And then you're looking at the Vardy chance, the one-on-one. You're thinking, there we go. There's Jamie Vardy. I was thinking back to the Sheffield United in the last, when he destroyed the corner flag. I was thinking to that. And I was like, that's very similar. The most unlike Jamie Vardy thing, he just pops it over the bar, and you're going, oh, what happened there? So you can look at it both ways. But in terms of Vardy, I don't want to give him too much stick, but because he's still a great, great player. But it's an opportunity. We know he sets his level so high that these kind of opportunities is quite annoying, quite frustrating, really.
You know that Vardy's going to be replaying that entire play in his head all night. Like,
Mm.
Vardy's that type of player. He's going to be sitting there. He's probably sitting there right now going, if only I
Punch
could,
himself in the face. What was it?
only while chugging a Red Bull.
The Sevilla game where he's punching
Yeah,
himself in the face.
yeah. But he's probably like sitting there, like punching himself in the face, chugging a Red Bull, going, "Man, if I only got that in." And he's probably replaying that entire play in his head, being like, "Okay, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? How can I fix that for next time?" Because he's the type of player that expects nothing but the best from himself.
Hmm.
And I could definitely can see him right now saying, "Okay, how do I actually capitalize off that next time?" Because 9 times out of 10, Vardy scores that. There's a rare occasion that he misses that, and today was the day that he missed it.
Yeah, exactly. And we move on again, bearing in mind, as we mentioned in the last show, he's still the second, I think, still to this day. Oh no, still to this day. I think no, they've got Jota's got one more, so I think he might have over. No, I think Jota's still behind. I'll have a look at the top scorers at the moment. Jota's still behind on 8. Jamie Vardy's on 9, and Mo Salah's on I think 13. So he's running away with it at the moment. However, we will have to see in terms of what's happening, but what a performance! I mean, what a performance from Salah to take it away. But Jamie Vardy's still up there in the ranks, and I think again I'm going to have to shout unless he's already put it in the comments as well for Ndidi. I have to put Chowdhury in there. Chowdhury's, I mean, with Ndidi kind of coming off form, it makes sense to try and stick it in Chowdhury in there, and also having Dewsbury Hall, Chowdhury, Barnes, and Thomas, 4 of them from the academy. I'm all for it.
Definitely, I think there's. I don't know if you swap Ndidi out. Like, to be brutally honest, I think there's. I don't know if he just had a bad game today because we always have those bad games. And has he been on top of
Watford
over the last
wasn't
little
great
while?
either, though.
He hasn't been, but I think this is the thing that I always struggle with is that when you have a player at his caliber, they figure it out. But I do think that the constant of Yuri being out with injury, and then
Mhm.
and usually the two of them are they're quite good together, and so I feel like he's a little bit off just dealing with all that and trying to gel with some new partners and stuff like that. So I don't know what you do in that situation. I don't think it'd be the best option to swap him out in the Villa game, but I definitely think that he's definitely got to sort some stuff out because clearly today he he wasn't on it and he could have caused much more problems for us, you know,
Yeah.
than he actually did.
Yeah, I think today he was. It was the reason why we criticize because we know how good his levels are, and we know how consistent he is. We know how consistent indeed he is, and wasn't quite at the levels today. He was getting carved over, and he was getting turned over quite easily, which was quite surprising. Apart from that, Alex, I don't really have anything else to talk about. I think we covered a lot of it, but obviously we've got the Villa Cup game coming up soon. Looking forward to that, but there's positives to take from this. And there's positives. And in terms of I think statistic wise, it was, I mean, statistics don't tell the match. However, if I bring up the statistics now, shots on target 6 to their 7, shots 15 to their 15, corners, again, that's corners 4 to 2. Quite an even game, 45 to 55. I thought it was quite an even game overall. We just need to keep with this team, get behind the team, and these performances will come because this is a lot better than when we were drawing away to. We're drawing at home, for example, draw the Crystal Palace draw, the Burnley draw. This feels a lot better.
Yeah, it's definitely better. I will say that. I think considering our run of form over the last, prior to our winning ways and drawing today was absolutely terrible. So the fact that we've been able to string a few wins and get some points together has been something positive to look at. I definitely just think that looking at moving forward and whatnot, you just gotta I'm hoping that the squad and Rogers just kind of stick with what they are doing because clearly it's working. Unfortunately today they just weren't able to capitalize on all their chances. But I definitely think that if they keep working at the rate that they're going at, things are going to start clicking. I definitely think that we have that opportunity against Villa. Who's to say what happens against Napoli? I think we play Newcastle after that, so we have a few opportunities coming forward that we can totally capitalize. But we need to be in that mindset that what we're doing is working. We just need to keep working on it to make it surefire. It's a surefire thing that it's going to work. And like I said, Villa, in my opinion, is a winnable game. It really is. And then you play Newcastle, who hasn't won a game all season long. So, right there, and then you let's be serious. You do not want to be that first team that gives Newcastle their first win, because let's just be serious. We don't want to talk about that. We don't want to talk about that. So, there's 2 opportunities for 6 points. So I think they have that opportunity to keep moving at the pace that they're going, and they just gotta I think keep that positive mindset going.
Yeah, and I think you're right. And in terms of where we are at the moment, we're up to 8th again with some player. We'll bring the table up now. Again, it's very tight down there. In terms in the middle of the pack where we are, 8th position. There we go. 19 points at the moment. 8th position. Tottenham are yet to play 2 games. Manchester United, 18 points. It's not looking too bad, all things considered, at the moment. To be honest, Alex. This group is tight. Again, looking at 3 points brings you down, or 4 points brings you down to 17th, where Southampton are. It's only 4 points, but it's good to be moving up that way in that direction. So 8th place, we'll take that for now.
Yeah, you know what? When you look at the table like this, I think the best thing to do is just look up. You look down, you're going to start thinking negatively. And if we're being serious, from 7th all the way down to, I would say, 18th, we're looking at a 9-point gap. Like it's close. So you string a couple of poor performances together, you could be all of a sudden looking at the bottom. But if you keep stringing some good performances, you'll move up that table faster and faster, and looking further away from the bottom. So keep looking up. Let's not look down. Let's not even think about it. I think this is like I said, December is that opportunity, and I think December is going to be the defining month that is going to place us in contention for a top 6, 7, or 8 finish, or finish somewhere in the mid-table.
Yeah, got a few games left. Obviously, we've got until we get to about 20 games and then we'll hopefully get the Southampton. We've got as Alex was saying, we've got a decent enough run of fixtures coming up. If stick behind the team, we'll get there. I think so. Don't worry, it feels a lot better than what it was a while ago. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, go follow Alex on his lovely new Twitter over there as well. I've updated the description, which is there as well. If you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we'll see everybody in the next video. So goodbye.